I'm Iain Curry, this is Chasing Cars, and with me is the absolute halo Volkswagen Golf. It is, of course, the R all-wheel drive hatchback. Now, these have just been launched in 8.5 generation, guys, and there's some cool new stuff to go with the new models. They start for $70,990, that's $500 more than the outgoing version, and there's also, for an extra $1,500, this very bad boy Black Edition Special.
Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car.
Brought to you by
Budget Direct.
Now, the engine, that remains a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder, but there is some boost in power and torque. We've got an extra 10 kilowatts and an extra 20 newton meters as well. There's now a stonking 245 kilowatts and 420 newton meters, which means this thing is going to do 0 to 100 in just 4.6 seconds. That's a slight improvement over the old. That ups it by 0.2 seconds, but that can mean the difference when you're out here at the racetrack at Eastern Creek like we are today. So I wanted to show you this Black Edition because it feels like quite a special thing for Australia. Only 300 are coming, and we're told 150 have already been allocated. But for that extra $1,500, you're getting these black matrix LED headlights, a black grille. This is the first time VW's had a full black badge. That's pretty bad boy, isn't it? And this all lights up as a light strip as well at nighttime when the lights are on. Now, if I just take you around the side, there's of course black mirror caps, another little black R logo here. Now, these rims, these are 19-inch. They're called Wormer now, and they are only 8 kilograms. That's 2 kilograms less than the old Estoril rims, which were 10 kilos. Also black calipers as well down the side. Little funky black badge on your B-pillar. And just at the back, you've got pretty significant roof spoiler, little black through the rear lights, and of course, just to keep things going, even more black for the exhaust tailpipes, and another black VW badge at the back. You want black, you got black right here. It's a pretty evil looking thing and a bit different to the other colours you can get. You can also get it with the familiar blue Golf R, and you can get it in white as well with all this black stuff on it. As you'd expect with the pinnacle of Golfs, it's very well equipped in here, and it does feel quite luxurious. Dark and austere feeling with all this blackness, absolutely, but there's flashes of blue, little blue stitching, little blue on my steering wheel, and little R logos behind me as well. Now, these seats, they're something else. These are Napa leather, heated, ventilated and power, and the driver's is memory as well. They're really supportive, nicely bolstered, and they've even got this little carbon fiber type trim down the side. I'm still not sure that I love it, but it's certainly racy looking. Okay, what else do you get? This center console, that's very clean, a tiny little gear toggle. This is piano black. I could probably live without that. That's going to get very smudgy. You can just see in here, I've got a clever little place for my phone. That's for your wireless charging, and that holds it into position. So when you're playing at silly driving out in the countryside, it's not going to fly around. This steering wheel, that is mega chunky. I really like the steering wheel on this Golf R. What I don't love so much, and even though this is the 8.5 generation Golf, unlike the lesser Golfs, you've still got these little touchy haptic feedback buttons, which I've noticed as I'm driving along, I can sometimes just knock into them and they'll go on. I'd much prefer physical buttons on those again. Nice feeling flappy paddles, as you'd expect. Now, here's a proper new thing for this 8.5 generation, much better infotainment. This is a new 12.9-inch screen. I've navigated through it a bit, done my wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It's working really well, nicely functionality and good cameras as well. That has navigation, and there's also in front of me, I've got a digital driver's display. That's nicely customizable. That goes through all the changes as you change drive modes, head-up display as well. It's pretty light feeling in this particular car because it's been given the optional sunroof. That's pretty much the only option you can get on these cars. That's an extra $1,900 though. The general feel of the cabin, as you'd expect, there's soft plastics for my dash and door tops. There's nice carpet through these doors as well, so if you put a bottle in there, it's nicely suppressing the noise if that flies around a little bit. USB-C ports, as you'd expect with a new car. There's this kind of nice silver trim through the dashboard as well. That's not offensive at all. And just a general feel with a blue ambient light as well. It says it's racy, but it's not over the top. So pretty good all round. And another little treat you've got is Harman Kardon, pretty special audio. Hopping into the back of one of these Golf Rs reminds you don't need to have an SUV as a small family car. Now, I've got a Golf 7 at home and 2 kids that are getting bigger, and they have no complaints fitting in the back of one of these things. You can see my headroom's pretty mega here. Legroom's a bit tight, but nothing silly. And I've got little luxuries like my fold down armrest. These seats are pretty nice as well. They've got ribbed through them. They've got that funky carbon fibre type weave as well. Where it falls down a little bit is the doors. They're much more hard plastic than you get in the front. But I think most people that are buying Golf Rs, they've either not got kids or the kids that they do have will be very small. Other goodies include 2 more USB-C ports. You do have air vents back here that work pretty well. What you don't get is any reclining back seats or anything like that. I want to show you a clever thing that Volkswagen's Golfs have had for a long time, and I'm surprised it's not more commonplace actually. So you just push that in to open the tailgate. There's no electric tailgate in this, but under there is your rear-facing camera, and this works as like a cool little umbrella. So even if it's absolutely hounding with rain, your camera is always sheltered, so you've always got perfect visibility out the back. Super smart. Now if I open up the back end, now this being a small hatchback, the space isn't massive. It's 374 litres, but is about average for one of these segment cars. And if I just pop underneath here, there's your subwoofer there for your Harman Kardon. So there's no spare wheel with that. You've got your repair kit in there instead. Not ideal, but that's just the way things are going, aren't they? So we've got a proper challenging test for our Golf R here. We're in some of the finest driving roads in New South Wales, but also some of the sketchiest driving roads. There are potholes everywhere, filled with water. It's a really lumpy, bumpy track. And also it's hounding it down with rain. There's a bit of standing water around. So these are real treacherous, hazardous conditions for testing in. But in a way, that's going to really help this car shine. I've already done a couple of 100 kilometers and it has been an absolutely perfect companion so far. I'd expect to be sliding all over the road and feeling really that I had to pull back quite a bit, but quite the contrary. It's been absolutely superb so far. Before I get into what this engine can do, it's the damping that has really stood out for me in this Golf R. It's got 15 different settings for its adjustable suspension. If I move into comfort mode, which is just easily done through my screen here after a little touch on the steering wheel button, it feels so compliant. It makes this a proper everyday feeling car. It really does absorb these lumps and bumps really well. That's despite having pretty skinny 19-inch performance rubber on this car. And through my numerous drive modes, again just accessed through my steering wheel button, if I go into race mode, now that really firms things up. That you can just feel those hits. This is a proper spine smasher. You really only want to use this on the racetrack because it really is too firm for the road, but that's what makes adjustable damping so good. Now if I go into special mode, this has a little flag of the Nürburgring map on it, and this setting's absolutely superb because it's been honed at the Nürburgring, which is of course a very fast racetrack but also a very bumpy one, which in a way mirrors the sort of crappy Australian roads that we drive on. You can get some serious speed on the country roads, but also it's going to be very choppy. So the suspension is actually really quite soft, absorbing those hits and bumps and actually making it a really lovely way to drive quite quick. That Nürburgring mode, that puts everything into maximum attack. That includes your steering feel, your throttle response, the engine performance, the way the dual clutch auto shifts through the gears for you as well, really quite rapidly. But it also brings into play the sharpness, the real track hone stuff that's going to come using the torque vectoring. Now, this car all-wheel drive, of course, and it sends 50% of the torque to the front and 50% to the rear under most conditions. But there's clever torque split now at the back, so it can send all that rear torque to one side or the other, so it could, or any sort of percentage accordingly. So it's going to pick up on things like my steering angle, the amount of throttle I'm putting in, and of course if there's any wheel slip or any sort of traction loss, it's going to send more torque to the other wheel. All very clever, all done by a computer, all done by the very smart brain, so you don't have to worry about it. But the way that manifests itself on the road is something that just sticks and sticks and sticks. It is so good. It is so trustworthy. You'll throw so much confidence into this vehicle, even on these very shoddy, wet roads that we're on today. Now the 2-litre turbo engine, now that's up 10 kilowatts and 20 Newton meters over before. That's come through software and the boost from the turbo. And the way the turbo works now, it is armed and ready to go at more times. So when I ask for a bit of power, there's not any turbo lag. It's always ready to go, which means the throttle response is instant. It's almost like a naturally aspirated vehicle. There's very little to pick that this is a turbo, except that incredible pull, that torque pull that you're getting out of the corners. I have my steering wheel paddles, of course, for control, but I've just left it in its auto setting at the moment in my Nürburgring mode. And what that is doing, it's very cleverly picking the right gears for me. Now, I'm sometimes quite wary about these because it sometimes really doesn't choose the correct cog that you're after. But they say they have tuned this to be more racetrack relevant. So it's picking up things like how heavy I'm braking, and it's working out exactly what gear I'm going to need. And it has been so smart and clever so far. You absolutely throw your trust behind it. It also very cleverly picks your steering angle. It knows when you're mid-corner and knows not to change gear then and unsettle the vehicle. But what it's also doing is when I'm jamming on the brakes, it's dropping a gear, knowing exactly what I want. So it's always armed and ready to go with that maximum torque attack. And good grief, there's serious pull in this thing. It is bonkers. It is so quick. I mean, 0 to 100 in 4.6 seconds. That's 0.2 quicker than the old one. But you got to remember, these are figures that are proper supercar territory only a couple of decades ago in a family hatchback, right? It's nuts. And it feels a real muscly engine. There is just so much pull. It is just so good. And through the 7-speed dual clutch as well, can be seamless. It is really, really clever. And if I jam on the brakes, boom, down it goes. Put me into second gear knowing that's what I needed next. Really good. The only other car I've felt that does that so well is Porsche. They've got that just right as well. And they're a slightly different price point than these things, aren't they? But I suppose they're still under the same umbrella from Germany, so maybe there's a little bit of sharing going on there, but whatever they've done, it works beautifully. I'm also able to go in my Nürburgring mode, and if I just hold down the right shift paddle, I am in full manual mode. So I now call the shots completely. So if I want to keep it in second gear, put my foot down and bounce it off the limiter, I absolutely can. Just the way it should be. Of course, no manual transmission in these. They were stopped a long time ago. But no one was buying them anyway, seemingly, so that's just the way it is. But this is a second best, if you like, for those that really love the driver involvement. It really is a clever little gearbox, and it is nice to get it up to $7,000, have a little bum, 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 and then you can change up if you choose. Fantastic. And what about the noise of this thing? Well, it's not the last word in rawness. You can get an Akrapovic, I believe that's how this, I always call it Akrapovic, but we've been told it's Akrapovic titanium exhaust system as part of a special package for another few grand, and that'll probably make it sound even fruitier, because yeah, it is pretty suppressed in here. There's not a raw sound, but in these special sporty modes you do get some nice crackles and pops, but nothing too vulgar. Right, they've thrown us down a dirt road as well. That's quite cool. This is proper rally territory. Let's see if we can have a little slip. There she goes. Beautiful. Proper rally mode. And this is the lovely thing. So we've been through quite a twisty section. Now it's flattened out. We've got a bit of a straighter road. So I'm just going to move it back into comfort. And you can just feel that damping soften off. And it really is just so compliant. So lovely. I know it's a bit cliched to call it a Jekyll and Hyde, but it really is that good. Adaptive damping is just what a godsend. What else can I tell you? Well, these seats, I mean, no complaints from me. They're very well bolstered. They're holding me into position nicely, pretty comfortable, and there's all the luxuries of heated, cooled, memory, electric, you name it. Got a nice glass roof over my head. Got a heated steering wheel under my hands because it's only 9 degrees outside today. Yeah, it really is a plush cruiser, and Napa leather as well. That can't be bad. I know it's 70 plus grand for one of these, but can't really fault some of these inclusions. Another change with this 8.5R is you no longer need to put 98 in it. It only now needs 95, so that might save a little bit of your fuel bills. What are we getting today? Well, on a really twisty bit of back road, we were getting 15.5 litres per 100, but we were really getting quite enthusiastic there. I've now averaged out to about 12.2, so just about tolerable, but just be aware that if you use this car as intended, it is going to drink that 95 reasonably quickly, but there's a few better ways to do that. We've got another bit of gravel road, which is lovely, for a little skid. So let's test this rear wheel drive kind of feel a bit. Even though it's an all-wheel drive car, it'll get that back end out a little bit on a loose surface like this, which is rather playful and nice. And as soon as that's finished, back into comfort mode and take it easy again. This is just one of those cars that's very hard to pick holes in. It's so very good at what it's designed to do. It's so competent, so clever, so very fast. And for me, still one of the biggest elements of driver enjoyment is how good that steering is. Hopefully we're going to get freed up on a good bit of road in a minute, and I can talk you through that steering, because it has felt very direct, nice and firm without being too pointy and race car like. And the brakes as well, they're certainly feeling plenty of bite as well. It is a hell of a package, this thing. And for cross-country cruising with a bit of comfort and a bit of luxury, there's not much else to touch this thing, not at this price anyway. It's a hell of a car, this Golf R. It's always been a brilliant offering way back. I've tested just about every generation of them way back to 2002 when the R32 first landed. And this thing, it just gets better and better, faster and faster as well. It's quite the performance beast now. If I must pick any holes, it is that the climate control, I'm still taking my eyes off the road while I'm prodding the screen. The screen is massive, but I'd still just much rather little buttons. And on the steering wheel for this R model, unlike the rest of the Golf 8.5 family, I've still got my touchy haptic buttons, and I have been hitting off and on the heated steering wheel, which just sort of shows either it's user error or it's just too sensitive and I'm just keep bashing it accidentally. So just physical buttons again on the steering wheel, this thing would go up even higher in my impressions. Okay, I've got a decent few corners now coming up, bit of a hairpin, and that steering, I only need one bite of that because it is pretty sharp, pretty direct. It's pretty gravelly out there, but I bet this thing's going to stick nicely. It just hugs that apex. It is so clever. And just that torque coming out of the corners. It is just there. It's on boost. It's ready to go. It is absolutely direct, just like a naturally aspirated performance vehicle. Absolutely superb. And just the way it's just holding, there is just no understeer through these corners at all. You'd have to really push it to get nasty understeer going through here. Phenomenal thing. So we've been really fortunate to test this new updated Golf R in some of the best conditions to help it shine, which is pretty rubbish roads, soggy roads, and a racetrack as well. And I must say, I am deeply impressed with this vehicle. I know it's a lot of money for a humble Golf at over 71 grand, but what a machine this thing is. The engine, that is even more powerful, more torquey than before. The wheels, they're more lightweight. We've got this special edition, black edition. There's so much to like about this car. It is a wonderful, wonderful all-rounder. And like I say, I'm deeply impressed. And up against the competition as well, the other serious hot hatches and some of the prestige from BMW and Mercedes with all-wheel drive, this thing I think really does shine and still look reasonable value. There's not much else you can get for this sort of money that is going to deliver this sort of brilliance on road and track. Now, am I getting carried away with myself? Have I been sucked in too much by the experience we've had today? I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you interested in getting something like this? Please leave your comments in the section below. Subscribe if you've not already done so. And as ever, thank you for watching Chasing Cars.